His wife has tunnel vision. His focus is on getting custody of Monster. I would think he would have had that conversation with me first before extending that invitation. So I'm bothered.
Let's take a breath and get real. Because what's happening between Kimmi Scott and Maurice isn't just a messy moment in reality TV, it's a full-blown reckoning. And now, after months of silence, of fans screaming into the void, of clips being replayed and dissected like a crime scene, Kimmi Scott has finally spoken. But before we get to her words, let's rewind.
My family an apology. More so because a lot of times he'll have this perspective of it was a joke or I was trying to be funny, and it did not land at all.
Because this didn't start with drama. It started with something heartbreakingly human. A woman facing cancer, got Kimmi. Known for being grounded, level-headed, and real, even in a sea of reality TV chaos, made a choice. She chose to share her breast cancer journey with the world. She didn't sugarcoat it. She didn't filter it. She showed the chemo, the hair loss, the fear, the breakdowns, everything. And people were moved. Deeply. They saw a woman who wasn't performing. She was living, surviving, struggling, and somehow still showing up. But as Kimmi's vulnerability deepened, something else started to stand out. Maurice Scott. Or rather, the absence of him emotionally. Sure, he was there physically, on camera, sitting beside her, saying the right things. But something felt off. Where was the emotion? The rawness, the fear, the love? Episode after episode, Kimmi would pour her heart out, sharing the trauma of her diagnosis. The toll it took on her body, the fear of not seeing her child grow up, and Maurice. He'd respond with business-like detachment. Calm, composed, almost rehearsed. People noticed. Fast tweets flooded timelines, TikToks popped up breaking down his expressions. Reddit threads started looking like investigative forums. Why does he sound like he's reading a script? Where's the empathy? Why? Is she going through hell? Alone? And then the rumors started. The kind of rumors that change everything. According to a supposed production leak, Maurice allegedly asked the crew how emotional he should act in a particular scene. Let that sink in.
She doesn't know you.
That doesn't matter. She shouldn't feel that comfortable to talk to my husband about me.
Not how is she doing. Not is she okay to film today. But how emotional should I look on camera? And suddenly, a harsh possibility came crashing in. Was this man turning his wife's suffering into strategy? Because think about it. A loyal husband standing by his wife through cancer. That's not just powerful. That's marketable. Especially when your image has already taken hits from past rumors about infidelity, detachment, and shady late-night behavior. So, while Kimmi was literally fighting for her life, Maurice was allegedly calculating how to position himself, and it got darker. Leaks suggested that Kimmi asked to take a break from filming, that she was exhausted, that she needed rest. But instead of support, she got resistance. The word that reportedly came back to her. This storyline is too powerful. Not too painful, not too personal, too powerful. Like a headline, like content. Let that sink in. Again now, you're not just talking about emotional unavailability. You're talking about exploitation. And while this storm brewed, Maurice, he kept moving like nothing happened. Posting motivational quotes. Promoting his legal events, smiling on panels, talking success and branding while his wife fought for breath. Between chemo sessions, it felt cold, calculated, cruel, but through it all, Kimmi stayed silent, dignified, composed, graceful, and fans, even in their outrage, admired her strength. They saw through the TV cuts. They saw the woman behind the scenes, tired, drained, and yet still standing. And now, finally, she's spoken in a quiet, emotionally charged interview. Kimmi didn't lash out. She didn't expose anyone. She didn't throw shade. Instead, she did what she's always done. She told the truth. She shared that filming during treatment was heavier than anyone will ever understand. That there were days she didn't want to film. That she kept going because she felt obligated. That once the story started, she felt she couldn't just walk away. She didn't say it. But she didn't have to. Her body language, her eyes, her tone, they said it all. She wasn't just battling cancer. She was carrying the weight of being a storyline, and in that moment, fans broke. Because the woman they supported, prayed for, cried for, was also being quietly used. Maurice, meanwhile, has said nothing. Not even a vague statement acknowledging the backlash. Because how do you rehearse grief? How do you script support? What made things worse was that Kimmi never stopped filming, even at her weakest. And when reports surfaced that she allegedly asked to take a break but was denied, things went from problematic to disturbing. Because if that's true, if Kimmi wanted to rest, to recover, to breathe, and someone, whether it was the network, the production, or even Maurice said no, then we're not talking about coldness anymore. We're talking about exploitation. While Kimmi lost weight, lost energy, and faced literal life and death battles, Maurice was out promoting podcasts, hosting legal seminars, smiling on panels, and fans couldn't help but connect the dots. Was he capitalizing on her pain? Was the show using Kimmi's suffering for ratings while Maurice used it for relevance? And now finally, Kimmi has spoken. No shade, no drama, just truth. In a recent interview, she quietly acknowledged that the experience of filming during treatment was heavier than people will ever understand. She said there were moments she wanted to stop but felt the commitment was already made. She didn't name names, she didn't place blame, but her words said enough. She was tired, she was overwhelmed, and still, she kept showing up. Because she thought it mattered. Because she thought her story could help someone else, and it has. Viewers have flooded her with love, support, and admiration. But the backlash aimed at Maurice, that hasn't slowed down. Because people aren't just mad, they feel betrayed. They feel like Kimmi was turned into a storyline instead of being protected as a human being. And as Maurice continues to stay quiet, posting business updates and pretending like the outrage doesn't exist, the silence is deafening. And telling. This isn't just about a TV couple anymore. It's about the ethics of reality TV. It's about emotional responsibility. It's about how much one woman had to endure while others cashed in. Kimmi Scott didn't just survive cancer. She survived a storm of speculation, scrutiny, and silence. And even now, her grace is louder than the noise. Not a single sign of emotional accountability. And that silence. It's not strength. It's not grace. It's guilt. At least in the eyes of the public. Because now the audience isn't watching a show. They're watching a dissection of a man, of a marriage, of a morality line that reality TV may have finally crossed for good. And the backlash. It's not dying down. It's growing. Former fans are walking away. Influencers are calling him out. Other cast members are throwing thinly veiled shade. Even OWN, the network, is under pressure with fans demanding accountability for turning Kimmi's cancer battle into a ratings grab. Some are calling for a special episode dedicated to just Kimmi, a documentary, a healing space, a platform where she can share her story without it being hijacked by ego or image control. Because here's the truth, Kimmi never needed Maurice to look good. She needed him to be good, and now, it's clear to millions that one of those things mattered more to him than the other. In the end, Kimmi's grace has spoken louder than any scripted scene ever could, and her strength raw, human, imperfect, real is what fans will remember. The drama, not the ratings, not Maurice's curated.com, just Kimmi, a woman who shared her pain with the world, and still stood tall. The cameras may have been rolling, but what people saw, what they felt, was real, and no amount of spin can hide that anymore.